thinking there. My head was just like, huh? Yesterday I found out that Wool Wars is added to Hypixel Minecraft, and if you don't know what Wool Wars is, that's fine. I will quickly explain it to you. It is a 4v4 capture the point mini game that takes basically all of its inspiration from BattleBox from Minecraft Championship. It plays exactly the same way you'd expect it to play, but if you don't know how that is, basically there's 4-on-4 and a singular center point with 9 blocks in the middle, where you're trying to fill those 9 blocks with your own team's color of wool, while also trying to fend off the other team with only having a single life. And it's a best of 3 rounds, or best of 5 rounds, so first to 3 points wins. And it's good, chaotic fun. But I'm going to talk about it real quick in kind of like a what's good about it and what's bad about it. First thing I want to talk about is the combat system that they use. Since it is a Hypixel game, that means it is on the 1.9 minus, so like 1.8, 1.710, that system, meaning the spam clicks, what you'd expect from watching like Bed Wars or anything Hypixel. So the goods about that. It means all the Bed Wars sweats are going to love it. It's going to be great. They're going to do well. And anybody with a fast hand, it's just great. You just left click, there you go. The downfall of that, the game does not feel like it's meant to be played in 1.8. Meaning that with the spam clicking combat style of 1.8, it kind of negates the fact that there are some classes that are obsolete because you can just out-click them with a class with less gear that is better utility. I think this game would do really well if it was in the 1.9 plus category of PvP. So then you can you get more intricate classes like an axe versus a sword, crossbow versus a bow. I just feel like in 1.9 plus it can do much better and all around just be a more enjoyable experience. Now, as for the classes, there are 4 classes that are available to you in the game. There's a tank, a utility, an archer, and a berserker. But as far as they go, there's kind of just 2 of them that are good and 2 that are kind of useless. The 2 that are good is the archer and the tank. The reasons for that is the archer has a backwards leap ability, which makes it so you can move around the map much faster, and in some cases, if you're cheeky, you can get your entire team to jump to the point and have all the wool replaced before anybody can even react. The tank is because just the utility of the fact that it can heal itself while also getting a golden apple off the start and having the most armor, even though it only has a wood sword, but it's a 1.8 combat, so it doesn't matter because you can just out-click people. The berserker is way less armor. You only have leggings, and you have a stone sword, which is nicer if you get that extra damage, but in reality, who cares if you can just out-click someone? And then the utility class, which is also less armor, but they have a shovel, so replacing centers a little bit faster, but nobody cares about that. And they also have TNT to push away the enemies. It doesn't do damage, it just pushes. But again, who cares? Like, we've only found a few uses for that on a few maps. So with that, there's kind of 4 classes, but really there's only 2 classes to choose from. With that though, every class does have their own power-up, which is a really cool system. For instance, the tank, like I said, it heals itself. The berserker, they get speed. I don't remember what the utility one is because I only used that class twice. But then the archer, it has a backwards leap, which was broken. We found so many uses for the archer's backwards leap that it was almost game breaking. The best use we have found for it is on a lot of their maps. You could off spawn, look backwards, and use the leap backwards to jump right onto the point and replace all of the blocks before anybody could get there. And there was quite frankly nothing anybody could do about it, especially if there was more than 2 of you doing it. The last thing I want to hit on is the map design of the maps that you were able to play on the game mode. The map design suffers from the same thing every Hypixel map does, meaning that all the colors are kind of just dull, except for Quakecraft. Quakecraft, for some reason, they got right, and all those colors are very vibrant and bright maps, and it's fun. But the maps are kind of dull, even though like they're really good builds, but the colors just don't pop. And I feel like with a game mode like this, you want good, bright, fun colors to try to just be like, this is a more of a lighthearted game. There was a lot of grays and a lot of really dark colors and not a lot of like really vibrant, fun atmosphere, I guess. But that's just the color schemes, the whatever. All of Hypixel has generally suffered from this, but it's fine because I mean Hypixel still makes great builds. But then the actual map design itself, on some maps was good and some maps were bad. But one good thing about the maps is that they were all balanced, meaning that every map was the same no matter which side of the map you spawn on. So getting from one side of the map to the other is going to be the same amount of time and direction as the other side, meaning that there's no like advantage to one side or the other. But the downfall of that, even though they're all balanced, there were some maps that were just heavily inclined to be playing a singular class. For instance, there's a map where the center point's raising up on a pillar, and from spawn, if you're the archer class, you can jump straight from spawn into the center and replace all the wool before the other team even has the ability to get to center or even halfway there. So because of that, there's some tweaks that need to be adjusted, maybe adding a wall in front of spawns to just deny the archer class the mobility of just being able to jump to center, because it's kind of a broken strategy right now. We won way too many rounds just by hopping to middle before the other team could even realize we were there. We'd already placed and won. Another thing, I personally think this is a poor map design choice, is when you add pitfalls and lava in places where large combat areas should be taking place. Meaning there was, again, one of these same maps where we can hop right to center. On either side of the center point, you had about 2 blocks and then just cliff. That is okay in like a Skyward setting, but in a game where you're fighting over a central point, you do need a larger area to fight, especially with the 1.8 PvP style, where being able to just knock people up and 8 block them is really easy. So because of that, I feel like there was a lot of unneeded pitfalls that just kind of ruined some of the strategy you could do, because it was like, oh, you turn a corner and I'll just boop them off the cliff instead of actually having to strafe and really PvP them. Other than that, the maps, build-wise, great. Could use some brighter colors. The balance of them was great. Just missing those few little details that would make it go from a normal map to an extraordinary map. Overall, how I'd rate my experience while playing the Hypixel Battle Box, aka Wool Wars, I would probably give it a solid like 6 out of 10. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's slightly above average. But all in all, I would rather just go and play a remake of Battle Box, because it just seems like a superior game that's more thought out, and quite frankly, it's not 1.8 PvP, so therefore better. With all that said, that was my thoughts after my first 4 hours of playing Wool Wars. Please, if you enjoyed what I had to say, if you disagree with anything, please let me know. And if anything changes in the future and Hypixel updates the game mode, I will definitely consider looking back into it, because I did enjoy my time on the game. With that, I will catch you later. Subscribe!